Hello.
Hello.
Hi everybody. Well, this is an informal talk about what we said the other day in an exercise. We were doing an exercise the other day, 59.4, and it says use a dictionary or online corpus or to find two ways of completing each of these collocations. And everybody asked me what was a corpus, and as I know what it is, I'm going to explain briefly, trying to be not so boring. So this is a kind of guide of a bit of information about corpora, and this would be in PDF format, so Michelle can upload to the website, but I didn't have time this weekend, so I bring like this. So first of all, corpus, corpora. It does the same thing, but this is the singular form and this is the plural form. This is a Latin word, so they behave like this. We have to cope with these things. In Spanish, I think it's corpus, the singular, and corpuses. I think so. Okay, but in English it's corpus corpora because it retains the Latin form. So what's a corpus, by the way? I use the definition from Oxford English Dictionary, which is you can follow this and probably will be easier. Oxford English Dictionary, which is my favorite dictionary really. And there are two definitions for corpus. The first, a collection of written text, especially on the entire works of a particular author. For instance, all the novels of Saramago, I don't know, something like that. But also, it is a collection of written or spoken and unspoken material in machine-readable form, assembled for the purpose of linguistic research. And this is the definition that we are going to use today. Because in this sense, it's just what I explained a few days ago. It's just to put a lot of text all together. And what is the purpose of this? Because if the purpose is, if we were biologists, by the way, we want to know how a species interact in a forest, we go to a forest and we video record, we take samples or whatever. But linguists need a population of words, a sample of words to know how words behave in language. So what they do is they collect a lot of language, written and spoken, all together and put in a text format so you can search with a simple computer. This is a way to know, to have a lot of information from language behavior, but in a very simple way, very easy. In other words, before computers, to know about this, you have to go to different books and read. Well, how Dickens tell this story? How the other author tells this story? And what are the differences between them? How they use in terms of? Others use according to, others use according as. Why? So in order to make this easier, they put all the text together in a machine-readable form, so you can search words in a very easy form. So far, so good so far? Yeah? It's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So going with this, I put here some of the features of corpora. First, corpora are compiled. This is a new word, probably. To compile a corpus. To compile a corpus means to gather all those texts and all the information in a normally not in one file but in several files that are put together in a folder, for instance. So the technical word is to compile a corpus. And there are different types of corpora. I always confuse corpus with corpora, so sorry about that. But there are different types of corpora. For instance, you can have corpora of all the novels of the 20th century, for instance. So you have a collection of novels or literary texts in the 20th century. If you want to know, for instance, how novelists use English language to express or to describe things. But also you can have very specific corpora about, for instance, news. And you can take news from internet, news from the website, from newspapers and put all together so you have information about different registers. Okay? What else? Well, two important things about corpora. The first one, okay, they can use, normally you can download or you can have a pen drive with your corpus and you can use in your computer with a special kind of software. But also there are some of them which are free on internet, so we are going to use those. And another important feature about corpora is they can be, new words for today, synchronic or diachronic. Lorena should know about it. Yeah? Synchronic belongs to the same period of time, and they are used to study, for instance, different varieties of English. There are corpora from British English, American English, South African English, New Zealand English, Australian English, Australian English, Singaporean English, and so on. So all of them were compiled in the same period, for instance, the 19th century, but they belong to different varieties of English. So it's a way to compare how the language was spoken at the same moment, but in different countries. This means synchronic. And diachronic is just the opposite. It's a span in a span of time. So there are corpora which span, for instance, 200 years. Okay? So you can see the variety, how English, any language, okay, I talk about English, but it could be Spanish too. A language changes over the time from the, I don't know, the Middle English to the modern English. Yeah? Well, in the first page there is an example of the British National Corpus, which is one of the most famous corpus used today. It has 100 millions of words and it's online, so we can use it. And another very famous corpus is the COCA, which is Corpus of Contemporary American English. So these are the main varieties of English today, and you can go through this corpora and find information about how language is used today. What we can do with corpora, second page. So far, I got going very fast, but it's okay. Okay? What can we use them for?
Okay.
Well, first for collocation patterns. This is which a word normally collocates with a particular word and not with another. So in the example that I presented here, say, I don't know, it's very small, but I don't know if you can, probably we can see here, is the word information. Which verbs collocate with the word information? It's too small. Let's see. You can read it. It's provide, information. Providing, give. So if you read the first entrances, you can see how provide, give, have, obtain, get, gather, collect, use, receive, share, or exchange are the more common words, the commonest word used with information. So you have to write something about information and you have to use the word information. You can use different verbs to refer to the word information. Some are to receive, another to give information, but you have here a variety. This variety is very easy to find in this corpus. This is how the word information collocates with a verb.
So in this way, for instance, you can improve your language range. Instead of using the same verb all the time, you can find synonyms. The other day they asked you, is this like a thesaurus? It's like those dictionaries where you have synonyms and antonyms.
It's not exactly a thesaurus because it's not the definition of a word, but you have the word in context. So how the word is used today, or in other days, but how the use is really used, the word is really used. So you can find, and it's 100 millions of words, so there are a great variety. And the most important thing is that you can order those variety from the most frequent to the less frequent, so you know which is something very normal in English and which is something very odd.
I think it is from the most frequent to the least.
You can order in that way if you want. There are many things, many ways to order, but you can order in that way. So you know that probably provide is more frequent than give. Also, this depends on the type of text, because technical texts are very different to normal spoken language, but you can know from where this information was taken.
Yeah, for instance, in that example you gave, provide is more frequent in formal written texts than give. See what I mean? But in spoken English,
Probably
give would be more frequent. See?
Yeah. But you can know where this information was taken, so you can know if it was written or not. Okay, another use is which preposition is more appropriate for a word, for instance. Three key things of prepositions, and if just you type the word and you know, for instance, with build, was Karen asking me, say build on, build in, upon, with, gone. So there are different prepositions that collocate with build, okay, for different purposes, but all of them are okay and used every day in language. Another use is which is the appropriate to correct word order. For instance, adverbs are very messy because they can go sometimes before, sometimes after, they mean different things. So you can know in the context when an adverb is used before or after, for instance, a verb, and if the meaning of the sentence gives, if this position gives at the end a different meaning to the sentence. And also new trendy expressions such as the case of emphasizers, which is something that Michelle loves.
Intensifiers, yeah, emphasizers, excellent, yes, yes.
Okay, for instance, those emphasizers, so it's like that far or that big. This is something very new in English, this just for the last century, really. So these kind of new expressions that go every day are recorded in Corpus, so you can know about this new expression. A similar one is
Way better.
way better. No.
It's way better.
Way better,
But
okay.
that's an intensifier, but it's used in informal. Informal.
An informal, yeah, like damn, this is another informal one. Damn good. Yeah, but those are,
That's like fucking good.
yeah,
Damn good.
but it's very normal in series, for instance. And this is a negative word, would have a positive meaning here. And this is a noun that becomes an emphasizer. So these things are created every day in language, and a corpus is a very good place to know about them. Okay, stop with theory.